Well, this one's definitely seen better days. Those who've been subscribed to the channel for a little while now will probably recognise this hydraulic tank here. This is off the little Kubota excavator that we've been trying to save. So this is just one of the things that needed addressing. As you can see, it's pretty rotten out. We've already gone ahead and cut out pretty much all of the bad. Rather surprisingly, the bottom of the tank, as you can see, albeit rather dirty at the moment, is pretty sound. She's fairly solid at the bottom, which I'm quite surprised at, to be honest, given the amount of water that has gone in this thing over the years and ultimately rotten out all this year. It hasn't done any damage to the bottom, so it looks like it's just this area here that needs addressing. So we've already cut this out. Now this original piece, you can probably see in there, the light is not very, I bet that's that side. The light is not very good. But this original piece would have been bent. There would have been two returns on this face, on the face of this here, and they would have been lapped inside this out the side wall of the tank, and then you can just about see here there's been a welded seam down the outside. But the side pieces of this seem to be in pretty good condition, and they are very much still welded firmly inside there. So I think what we're going to do, given we've already got a double thickness here, I think we'll just cut a simple rectangular piece, offer him up to the front, and I think we'll weld him back in all the way around the outside there. One thing we have got to cater for is this is, well, ultimately this is just a solid block of steel, but what this is for is this houses the sight glass for the oil level in the tank. So we've pulled some measurements off this and the tank before we cut it out, but we have to put in provision for that on the new piece. I think we're going to go ahead and just roughly cut around this to get it out, but I think we're going to go ahead, we'll take off all this piece of steel on the back, and then it's basically just two holes we need to punch through the new plate and then weld this block on, and that basically sits around there like that, and then there's a sight glass to go on there just to display the oil level in the tank. So should be a pretty straightforward repair. We're going to use this sheet here. This is just a basic 1.5mm, or it's probably about a 1/16 of an inch for American viewers. We'll go ahead and we'll use that for our new piece there. And should be just as simple as welding this back in here. Obviously the tank is stinking at the minute all the way around. Look, it needs a good clean, but we thought there's no point doing that yet. All cutting and grinding we needed is, it's full of grinding dust in there now, so we'll get this new piece welded in here, give it a good clean up, give it a coat of paint. She should be good to go for another couple of years. Far off there actually, looking at that. We want this to sit slightly inside,
yeah,
just so we can get a nice bead right into the
on there,
right in that corner there, rather than have it lapped over flush. At least we can get the bead to sink in there. What we have got though is a bit of a gap down here, and that's because of the radius that's on this bottom piece always lapped in. But I think what we can do there is if we bring that out till he's just touching the back of this, we tack him in place there, and we tack him at the top, and then we can flare these sides back round. Just tap them round. The beauty of it being some thin gauge material, we should be able to just tap that, knock these sides down so they sit back flush with the sides there. So for those that might be interested, we're going to use a TIG setup to weld this. This is an Artec machine, very similar to your Everlast unit. So settings wise, we're going to use the generic 1 amp per thou for a welding amp, so 1.5 mils around 60 thou. So we'll start off at 60 amps, see how we go. We can either add a little or take a little off, depending on how we run. We're going to use start, yeah. So we're going to have, I like to start with 1 second of pre-flow, 3 second up slope, start amp at 3, welding amp 60, and then our down slope, we're going to fade that out over 2 seconds. We'll end it 25 amp, and then our post flow, gas post flow, we'll run that being steel. Let's try 5 seconds to start with. Let's see how we go. Always add a bit more. Gas then, 100% pure argon, and we're going to run that around 5 litres per minute. We're using a number 8 cup on the torch. We've got a 1.6 mil 2% thoriated tungsten in there, and we're going to use a 1.6 mil filler wire. So, full disclaimer, I am 100% self-taught at welding. So, constructive criticism is welcomed in the comments. May not be the prettiest, but that said, I have never had a weld fail on me. So, let's get this thing buttoned up. Well, we got to weld it out. Not the neatest by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to do the job just fine. If you squint, it's mint. So I'm going to go ahead now, drill some holes in this to put the sight glass in, weld that on, and give it a lick of paint. I think it should be good to go. Good clean then, inside and out. And this one will be ready to go back on the machine. Well, this is one of the reasons why I much prefer TIG welding to MIG. As you can see, by us not overlapping those two pieces there, where we've introduced the filler wire, that bead is almost perfectly flush with both faces. If you wanted to knock them back now, there's very little dressing that needs to be done there. Whereas if we'd run a MIG up here, we would have a massive bead of excess filler wire that we'd have to knock back with a grinder. But this is almost perfectly flush. I don't know. I might knock them back with a grinder. I'm not sure, but they're not too bad as they are. We got a little lump in it there where I was a bit overzealous with the filler wire on the restart, but other than that, it is pretty flat all the way through. Okay, so we got this block all cleaned up for the sight glass. We actually had to dig into this a fair bit deeper than we were anticipated to get the existing sheet metal off the back that it was originally welded to. So we've just gone round and welded up that groove there all the way around, and then just run across the back of this here with a grinder now just to knock off any high spots. So that should sit flush now on our new plate, and I'll be able to then just run a weld into this existing weld here to attach it onto the tank. So we've got this expertly drawn schematic for the positional location of this block.
Lucky you took it.
Yeah, well, it was lucky you took it actually, because obviously if this is not put back in the right place, this is going to interfere with the cab. Although I don't think this machine is ever going to run with a cab again, mind. It's a little bit past saving, but we're going to put it back in the same place. Anyway,
There or thereabouts.
so what we got? We got
20.
20 mil in from the side,
Yeah.
and 260 mil up from that recess.
So 260 is about there and about there.
So if we tuck him into the corner there, and then the only other thing we got to work out then is the position of these holes, which we'll have to transfer to here and drill through. Obviously, that's what allows the oil to come up
I don't think it's
through
critical.
into the block. It's probably not critical as long as they don't protrude past the edge of the block. That's all.
Yeah. So there should sit.
So we had a bit of head scratching just now around which way this block needs to go, because the holes are offset. But
I worked it out.
well, Dad worked it out in the fact that it can physically only go one way.
Otherwise
Because any other position, all the holes are in the wrong place. So sometimes it's a lot simpler than it may seem.
Okay.
So we'll just have to flip that now. You could just flip it backwards. Yeah.
And then,
And then transfer, because you're pretty close to the edge here as well, aren't they? Christ, feel that already with the heat that that's transferred.
Yeah, you can see it's drying the pen. And one there. Like I say, I don't think
It's not overly critical.
I don't
Certainly not. Right, so we got this cleaned off to a reasonable standard. I wouldn't say you'd eat your dinner off it, but it's 100 times better than what it was. We've just run over this now with quickly with a Scotch wheel to give this paint something to bind to. As you can see, we've been far from critical with this, but as you're probably aware, the rest of the machine is not in too good a condition, so we're not going to waste too much time on this. It was purely, the idea for this was purely just to get it back to a serviceable standard, just so it hold hydraulic oil. So go ahead now, we're going to mask off the top of this. This flange is where the gasket to go on here, with the top of the tank seals on, and I've managed to locate a tin of orange paint that I believe is Kubota orange, so we'll go ahead and give it a lick of paint. Well, I think that just about wraps up this quick little fix on his hydraulic tank. Don't think it's going to win any awards, but most certainly going to fit the purpose. So we can get this back on the machine now, and then hopefully we can figure out that little engine problem. We do have some proper restoration work in the pipeline. We've got the power fab cab, as you can see in the background there, that we're looking to start in the next couple of weeks. So we're fully documenting that. That's going to be almost a complete new or complete rebuild on that. I don't think there's much salvageable. I think the only thing we might be able to save is the roof skin. So full in-depth restoration coming on that soon. So stay tuned. As always, thank you for watching.